We are live right now with Survivor Season 35, Episode 2. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome everybody to our wonderful Survivor After Show panel with AFTERBUZZ TV. We could not be more happy that you guys are joining us tonight. Dom is here back in the studio, y'all. Here she is. Dom, what's going on? How's life? You guys, we don't know what's going on tonight, but we are here for you for Survivor. Season 35, Episode 2.
Excited.
I'm a wild banshee. My name is Paige. I'm your host. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Bonanno, and my co-host for this evening.
What's up, everybody? Glad you could be here. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. And to my left...
Hi guys, Domonique here. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at DomoniqueP_ESQ. And I apologize for the nasally. I'm getting over the flu, but I wanted to be here with you guys tonight.
Girl, you better not get us sick.
Right.
Oh yes.
I'm not ready for the flu right now.
No, seriously, I had influenza.
Oh, it was real.
You look so skinny.
I ate today for the first time in 4 days, you guys. Best diet ever.
You're on that Survivor diet?
That Survivor diet. Michael Rippey is not in the studio with us today, but he should be back next week, I think. Potentially the week after. But
I don't know.
We are very happy to have Dom back. We have a lot of insight tonight, lots of stuff going on as always in Survivor. Episode 2, I can't believe it's season 35 already. What an amazing show that you can go 35 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best.
I mean, and then they just prove it, like episode after episode after season after season. It just gets better and better. It doesn't.
Like, I was sitting at home catching up, and I was just like, the shots are getting better. Jeff is still throwing shade.
Jeff's always throwing shade.
The water's still blue.
Yeah. The music is always intense.
Is amazing.
Yeah. I have to ask Dom this, since you weren't here last episode. I wanted to know how you felt after the first episode of Heroes, Hustlers, and Healers, because we talked about it last season and we were all like,
I was not impressed first episode. I just want to be honest with you.
Do you guys expect anything less?
From me? Right? No.
That's what I had to ask.
But what I will say is that I've seen the potential. I'm already seeing some favorites, but I'm gonna reserve those for
our
later.
fantasy draft, maybe.
For later. All right. Well, before we dive into today's show, we just wanted to give you guys a little update on our layout on YouTube for AFTERBUZZ, and basically just tell you about the exciting changes at our network right now. So you may have noticed, I know a couple people reached out to me last week about not being able to find our after show. We just want you to know there's been a lot of changes. Survivor actually now airs on a brand new YouTube channel. So that's only just because we're catering the content to match your guys' wants, and so all of our shows currently live on those like content specific verticals. So since you're a fan of our show of Survivor, all the content that you would like would be on this specific channel. So we're under the reality competition channel, so other things on there you guys may like that as well. So that's kind of how we are catering our content, so you guys are able to find what you like more easily. So definitely hit that subscribe button right now. We also have 9 genre-based YouTube channels, which you can find on the homepage of this channel. So subscribe to your favorites. We have comedy, drama, sci-fi, hero, fantasy is one, reality TV, reality competition, obviously those are different, animation, wrestling and sports, red carpets and events, and features and originals. So, as you guys know, AFTERBUZZ TV is a leader in custom TV coverage, and we're always looking to improve. So just, let us know what you think on all social media platforms at AFTERBUZZ TV, or just email us at info@AFTERBUZZTV.com. So hopefully that clears some stuff up, and you guys are able to find it now. And if you can't, just make sure to send us a message, and we'll get you the correct info.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right, with all that info, let's dive into tonight's show. I am a wild banshee. Was that said? Because I don't remember that quote.
It was said by Patrick, of course, because he was a little off the chain this episode. I want to point out the theme, the recurring theme that's going on with the title episodes, because last week it was I'm not crazy, I'm confident, and this week it's I'm a wild banshee.
Okay,
there's like this
right.
crazy, unpredictable theme going on in the titles.
Absolutely.
And it's also very personalized.
Yeah.
Which I like.
All right. So we start off with the Heroes tribe, And the Heroes tribe obviously was the one that went to tribal council last week. We saw that they were like all in a tizzy. They were like going crazy. Chrissy feels that she's no longer on the bottom, and she actually brought up a great point that she didn't use it wasn't an idol, but it was an advantage.
Yeah.
She didn't use it, but it was like in the form of what could look like an idol. So she's like, I could use this in the future as a decoy. I didn't even think of that.
I liked where her head was going.
And you guys thought, Dom, I know last week you weren't here, but did you think that it was smart of Chrissy to not use that for Katrina?
For sure.
Yeah.
Katrina was going nowhere fast.
Well, I also think it's funny how like
Physically.
everybody expected her to use that for Katrina.
Why?
But why? We never saw them really interact.
We're
Everyone was
not
like,
friends
oh,
like that.
they're the moms. Like we just kind of grouped them together, but they never really showed that they were that good of friends.
No, and I think that what I said last week in our episode, I was really almost a little offended the fact that they grouped these two women as moms, the mom squad. And I think Chrissy just proved everybody wrong this episode. I think she really made a name for herself.
And she seems like she's very confident now. She's like definitely more on the top than she was before, which I mean could have been seen a different way since she was technically on the bottom with Katrina. But like, I mean, she's kind of just moving her way up, and she's doing a really good job with her gameplay, I thought.
And this is why I will continue to say that Survivor is a week-to-week game. You could be on the bottom one week and soar to the top the next. And so you always have to tell yourself, I'm not necessarily trying to make it to the end. I'm just trying to make it to the next tribal.
Totally. Yes. That's a great point.
Agreed.
Alan, we also see, he says he got what he wanted because he created suspicion for Ashley and JP. I mean, do you guys think that everything that he did, basically they were saying he went from a safe place to just this huge target on his back. And I agree with that. But
Alan went to a crazy place.
He thinks that
I don't know.
He went to the sunken place, you guys.
But he thinks that it was a good move and that he did a good job. Do you guys think it was a good move?
I mean, I think it was a good move because Chrissy said it in the episode. She's like, I still am not 100% confident that they're not a power couple. So he did instill that suspicion in people's minds.
He didn't do it in the best manner.
No, I'm not.
What he did was he dangled a little bit of suspicion in the other people's mind about this supposable power couple, but he also dangled a carrot in the eyes of others as him being batshit.
It's very true, and I think that this whole like using suspicion to further your gameplay or your strategic gameplay is going to be a theme throughout the season. I loved how he said that he was never wanting to go back to tribal council, but in my mind, he really enjoyed that tribal council.
He had a blast.
He's like, I never want to go to tribal council because that was the worst. And I was like, what are you talking about? You had such a great time at the tribal council.
Like,
you were having the time of your life.
Are we watching the same feed? Like, what?
No,
you're not serious.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I think he put a target on his back. He could have gone about it in a very subtle way by still painting them as the power couple, but he chose to just go all out and go crazy. He wants that drama. He wants that competitive nature.
Thing, and my thing with Survivor is I can't show you crazy until I have proven myself to get to the point that I can fight for individual immunity. We're not there yet, bruh. Like it's a very like moving target.
Yeah.
You have no idols. Like you're showing them crazy.
Yeah.
It's like being in a relationship. You're showing me crazy way too soon. I'm not taking you on a second date.
Well, Ashley's definitely picking up on that because she said, you know, Alan now has a bigger target on his back. So it just backfired.
But here's the thing, again, back to my original point, because Survivor is a week-to-week process, because his tribe didn't make it to council this week, it may be in his benefit.
Oh, yeah.
So now it may allow for them to continue to see this little love nest prosper.
Yeah.
And then maybe, you know, we're not looking at the crazy man, but once a crazy, always a crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if next episode he's dangling another carrot in somebody else's face because he does not seem wrapped.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And we also, they were saying, oh, you know, the core four is no more. They're basically like old paint, craft and chip. They were a thing for literally maybe a day.
Maybe, yeah.
Until Alan went
like
crazy.
A few hours.
And
a day.
Right. And we, a few hours. Right when they stepped off the boat. We also see Chrissy, she obviously, like we said before, is just really moving her way to the top, and she starts making these little like alliances and these little plans. And basically she said she likes JP, but she doesn't think he's smart. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't feel like I know JP well enough to judge yet.
Agreed.
And she said that she doesn't trust Ashley at all. She basically thinks that Ben is the best option for her right now. Do you guys think that like Ben's the best bet?
Dude, like I said like 10 minutes ago, Chrissy really made a name for herself in this episode.
Like I said.
Because she literally went from like being on the bottom and like Domonique said, it's a week-to-week game. So now she's back and she's like, you know what? I was maybe on the bottom, so now I'm gonna like play my social game. And she's playing a social game hard.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that they kept her around. I like that she's with Ben now because I feel like them two can now work together. And I feel like if Chrissy still thinks that this power couple thing is going on, if Ben's smart, then he probably thinks it's still going on too.
I think Ben is a trustworthy guy, and I think we all like really liked Chrissy's gameplay this time. So yeah, I mean, I think Ben's a good bet for her. We also see that we don't really know, because I thought that maybe Alan was the only one that believed this power couple thing, but then we see when Ashley's talking to Chrissy and Ben later that they were like, yeah, we're starting to believe you now. I was like, starting to believe? Like, didn't you guys bought this? Like, or basically, like, what did they even think was going on?
I don't know. Based on the episode, I feel like Ashley and JP were making it like they were trying to prove that they weren't too hard. You know what I mean?
But it's only because Alan brought it up. Nobody thought they were a power couple
But I
until
know,
Alan
but
brought it
now
up.
they're like really trying to be like, no, we're really not a power couple. We're really not a power couple. So then I would be like, well, now I think that you
It's
are
like,
a
just
power
stop
couple.
talking
It's like
about
one of those, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like just like stop bringing it
Like
up. In there,
you're
maybe.
bringing up more attention to it by
Right.
just keeping bringing it up.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
He inserted it in a conversation with Chrissy out of nowhere. Like they weren't even talking about it. They weren't on the subject. But it was almost as if I need to throw this out here before you ask.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see like what happens with the healers, but they're clearly broken as a tribe. But
Aren't they all?
Chrissy seems to be the one repairing everything.
right. Every tribe is pretty much broken.
Right. Moving on to the Hustlers, they're pretty broken with Simone because everybody basically says we have no connection with her. She's very weird. And who but all people was saying that? Ryan. Ryan was saying, oh, Simone's the weirdo here. Basically, we see that Simone was a city girl. She had never really been in the wild, never been camping, doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. She volunteered to gut the fish because she read about it online.
Don't make me laugh.
At least she's trying, though.
Thank you.
Like, she could have been like, I've never done that.
You
I really
guys,
don't
she
want to.
gutted a fish. I was nervous as soon as we see her get the knife. I'm like, are the
You're like,
medics available? Because I thought it was going to be this horrific scene where she cut off half her thumb. That's where my mind was going. But the fact that she did it, I was like, points to you.
Yeah, thank you for
I'd already
giving
written her off.
Thank you for giving her credit. I think out of everybody this season, I honestly related most to Simone because that would
Out of anybody this season, it's been
that
one
would
episode.
literally be because that would literally be me. I'd be like, oh, I know, but I mean, out of
Yeah.
the 2 episodes, like Simone, I was like, you know, I felt for her. I, like you said, gave her points for stepping out of her comfort
See,
zone.
I feel like you're more like an Allie. Like, Allie was the one that went and befriended her and, like, tried to make her feel comfortable.
So
I
you're
feel
saying
like you
that I
would
have
do
the
that.
sympathy. You're saying that I would just take sympathy
I
on
feel
people
like
like me.
sympathy books.
It's a sympathy
Yeah,
book,
I feel like you would have just been, you're just very nice and you want to befriend everybody and, like, make them feel
Yeah.
good. I feel like you would be that person
I
to, like,
appreciate that,
Yeah.
Paige. Thank you.
you're welcome.
See, Paige is giving me points, guys.
So, yeah, we see that Allie befriends her. Simone is very excited as well about being able to go to the bathroom in the
She's
water.
so excited, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
gross.
she should have maybe expected those
Don't
things
tell
coming out.
anybody that.
Oh my gosh.
Does anybody notice they did it again this episode, and we talked about it last season, where they do this fair amount of foreshadowing on who's going to go home. Like they were putting, like we didn't see Simone at all last episode, and now in this episode it's
I
like
said
Simone
that as
heavy,
soon
and I
as
was
she
like,
got on the screen. What did I say? Is she an extra? Like where did she come
Yeah.
from? I do not remember her from last episode.
We all said, okay, who is that? And then right away Ryan was like, oh, she's really weird. I don't think she was weird. I just think like she just was out of her element.
she's out of her element. Yeah.
I don't think she was like a weird person. On the other hand, we have Patrick though. So not sure how people feel about him, but basically like he is very immature. We clearly see. He's 25, I think. Like he's
immature or bored?
I think immature.
Immature.
I think bored.
They're all bored,
If
but
I'm
not
bored-
everybody's acting
yeah,
like
but
that.
bored.
Yeah.
Think about a young guy who's bored.
They're
He's
all
not
young guys.
He's not that young.
And he's
like
What is young?
if he was
I'm
like 18.
young.
Well, don't forget, men do mature a lot slower than women.
That's true.
But at the same time,
So Patrick basically says like he wants to keep everyone having fun so that he won't be the target, but actually this makes him the target because they feel like they have to babysit Patrick. And Lauren and him are clearly butting heads, and I don't know. She basically says his volume's at a 10, it needs to be at a 2. Like he's just loud, he's out there, he's crazy, he's immature.
But this could be his personality.
Well, yeah, but they don't like it.
Right.
They're annoyed. They're annoyed by his personality.
Right. Just like they were annoyed by Simone's personality.
Right.
Just saying.
I mean, out of the two, who would you guys have gone for,
This is
Simone
a
or
good
Patrick?
point. Thomas said, I think that Simone has the potential to go through a personal growth experience much like David and Hannah in Millennials versus Gen X.
Okay.
I agreed
Completely agree.
1,000%.
Yes.
We saw Hannah change so much in
Yeah.
Millennials
Night and
versus Gen
day.
X. Yeah, night and day.
Night and day.
We also saw
Simone
Zeke
could be a
change
better
as well.
person for the world had we have given her more
True,
time.
true. So who would you guys have
world.
voted out, or not voted out, but who would you guys have
aligned
wanted?
with?
Aligned with or wanted to keep on, Patrick
None
or
of
Simone? Neither.
You have
but
to
you
pick
have to
one.
make a choice.
Okay, I'll go first so she could think.
Okay.
She's already thought. She's like, none. I would have went with Simone, honestly, because I feel like she was A, more trustworthy, and B, I feel like we could have given her more of a chance. I'm just
Yeah.
one of those people, maybe I am like Allie, I'm just more of like a sympathetic person, so I would want to give her a chance.
But to the Hustlers'
You're about to start making me
point,
sing We Are the
they
World.
wouldn't have gone very far with
Welcome
Patrick.
back.
They wouldn't have gone very far with Patrick being out of the challenges.
They're not going to go anywhere far soon anyway.
But Patrick is a much bigger physical.
Don't say that, Paige. I hate this argument. I hate it so much when people say, "Oh, we're gonna keep them around because they have to win these physical challenges," and then
here's the
in the end, they
thing.
don't even win the physical challenges anyway.
Exactly. My point exactly. Here's the thing. If he's your saving grace and you only have one, you are already doomed.
Thank you.
All right, well, we will get into the immunity challenge later and all the physical things that this tribe did. We will get into that, so I'm going to save it. So that's a little bit about the heroes, a little bit about the hustlers. So moving in, sorry, did I say heroes and hustlers?
Yes.
Now moving into the healers.
It's a lot of H's.
Gosh, there's a lot of H's.
It is.
We see, first of all, a little romance sparking between Cole and Jessica.
Gross.
And you had said right after that, you're like, ugh, I hate showmances. How do you guys feel about showmances? Do we like them or do we not?
Here's the thing.
Okay, all right.
Okay, you
We're
go
spending
first.
too much time
Ladies
together.
first.
I'm here to win $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Did we not see in the last 2 seasons, showmances can really screw up your chances to make it to even week 4?
Yes.
No one has time for that.
Who was that
Holla
young couple?
at
We had
me.
Figgy and
Yes.
and who?
Iggy and the
Figgy and the guy with the hair.
Yes. The
That
guy
had a baby on
The
the
guy that
way.
was, I think, also like he was a ski instructor. He did
Yeah,
like
horrible.
snowboarding, something
Something
like
with a
that.
J.
Yeah. What my here's the thing was I just watched Big Brother for the first time this season,
Okay.
and they had an irregular amount of showmances, and I think it
No,
put a really,
I've never
really,
seen that. I've been watching Big Brother since it started. I've never seen that many showmances on one season.
And I've heard that said before, but I
Disgusting.
think it put a really bad taste in my mouth. And just coming back to Survivor, when you're as a couple, you're counted as 2 votes, so
Yes.
it's a detriment to your game
Yes.
by far.
So, say that Cole and Jessica were perfect soulmates for each other. Would you not do anything on the show while you can't
No.
really help from flirting, but like
No.
this is the love of your life or $1 million. What would you choose?
Paige.
You don't have to choose. Basically, like go for the showmance after the show's over.
Yes,
Like go for the romance
it's really
later.
not that hard, and I don't understand why people can't understand
But
that.
the thing is, thank you. It was Taylor and Figgy Thomas.
Taylor,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thomas for the win.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thomas and Eric keep
feel
me
like
honest.
they have so much downtime. Like, obviously, they're going to be flirting a little bit. They're probably not doing it as much as we think.
Which-
I might have a showmance with Cole if I went on the show. Like,
Which just makes me think that JP and Ashley are doing something, because he was like, "We're not hooking up. We're not doing this. If we were, we would be." Like,
We
I was
might as
like,
well.
I was like, "You guys are on an island. If you're attracted to it, you know you're gonna be boinking in the woods, guys."
A lot of
yes, I said
people-
boinking in the woods.
Boinking
You did
in the
say
woods.
boinking in the
a lot of
woods.
people in the live chat are saying
liked
no
it.
to showmances. I think that we can all agree on that, but I think it would be hard when most of your day is just spent doing nothing to not even like flirt a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I will say this: Survivor has done a good job by not advertising those showmances as much.
Yeah.
like they squash them pretty fast,
They would be really cute together, though. I mean, he's like 5 years younger than her, but
which isn't that big of a deal.
No,
guys.
I mean,
No, I say
he's
go for
25.
it.
She's 30. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever. He says that he can see himself with her. We'll see.
That's
I was
cute.
trying to
Go for
I was
it
trying to creep
week
on their
8.
Instagrams to see if they were still together, and like she was commenting on his pictures though. So, we never know. We do find out that Desi was Miss Virginia.
Oh yeah, 2016 and another year. I just didn't write it down.
So that's pretty cool. We still haven't seen a lot from her. This was the second week, not too
I
much.
don't know her name.
Desiree.
And also with the healers, Mike and Joe, they kind of got along a little better this week than they did previous, but he is still public enemy number
yes.
I don't know why.
I like Mike.
I like him.
I
I
like
Mike too. I don't like Joe.
Joe is really rubbing me the wrong way.
And it's also funny that Joe was calling out Mike so hard for going for the idol, and then he's like, well, I gotta go look for the idol now. And then he does find a map to the idol, but he can't figure it out himself. So he needs Cole.
Surprise, surprise.
He needs Cole to help him out. So to his point, he says that he needs Cole because he knew that he couldn't figure it out on his own. I mean, do you think that it was smart to tell Cole, or do you think that just a little bit more studying, he could have figured it out?
He could have, if he would have just...
But Cole found it right as he looked at the thing. He's like, no, man, this is for the watering hole.
And I'm like, why? But you see, I loved how when he goes over to Cole, they show the raft. And I'm just looking at him like,
yeah.
Why?
But what I really like about Cole is that even though Joe told him, Cole could have easily, like, dug up the idol and been like, oh man, I don't know, gone and dug it up later on his own and found it. Like, he knew exactly when he looked at it. He could have very well just pretended like he didn't know and then went and got it himself.
And he says this, he's like, you know, what I do for a living is helping people, you know, through a process. And he's like, I can't help it. And so I think this spoke to his nature. I hope that it helps for others to kind of see how he is as a person. But I do think this is now leverage that he now has in his back pocket. Like, regardless of him having the idol, I honestly think him not having the idol is actually better.
Well, because like Joe said, you know, it could backfire because he has too much knowledge now. And Joe's the one with the idol.
Right.
But what do you guys think? Do you think that Cole made a big mistake by helping Joe? Or do you think that if you were him, you would have just pretended like you didn't know and gone and found the idol later? And
I would have pretended like I didn't know what it was also, and I would have been like, oh, yeah, you should go dig over there, and then went and tried to find it. I do agree with Domonique, though, when she says it's just part of his nature. And then I disagree because Sarah, who won last season, she was a police officer. She pretty much played that low-key.
Yeah.
Like, being a police officer was part of her nature, and she did use it, you know, sparingly.
But you guys got to remember, this was her second time playing, and she didn't do that the first time. So you live and you learn. She played a different game.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, all I'm saying is that you're in a situation where you're called over to help someone. Not helping them could bite you in the butt. Helping them can bite you in the butt. So all I'm saying is that this could be beneficial in two different ways. It's beneficial because now he's won favor with Joe. It's also beneficial because now he knows something that no one else in the tribe knows. And he can decide when and how he uses that information. So while Joe does understand that, hey, he now has a little bit of knowledge that I'd prefer him not to know, I wouldn't be in this better position without him. Which wins him favor.
I don't agree with that because, like you said, this is a week-to-week game. In this game, sometimes it stays, sometimes it goes, and I don't think that Joe is a very loyal person. I think
loyalty's loyalty. Joe's not going to be loyal to anybody. Let's get that
so
under
then
control.
Why help him?
But here's the thing. Now that he knows that if he doesn't tread lightly, I'm now going to force your hand to use it. There's nothing that you can do to 100%.
me. See, Dom, to your point, like now Cole has the power because he can decide, he can tell everybody and be like, all right, guys, we're all voting for him this time. Yes, he'll stay in the game, but like we'll
all be back on level playing field.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
And then,
I get your
point. It makes Joe look bad because if he doesn't tell anybody else and Cole's the only person that knows, then he's now shooting his loyalty and his gameplay with other people dead in the foot.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean that makes sense. James in the live chat says he thinks that Cole did make a huge mistake, and then Thomas said he agrees. So I mean, who knows? I agree with both your guys' points. I think there's validity in both. So let's move on to the immunity challenge. So basically, the 3 tribes have to swim to a floating net and then maneuver the puzzle pieces through the cage below and solve the puzzle. So, well, they're playing for a fishing kit, a big fishing kit and a small one. So Joe sits out for the healers and Lauren sits out for the hustlers. And I mean, I guess there's nothing really to it, but it seemed like they just kind of decided at the last, like, okay, Lauren's sitting out, like, without really, like, I mean, maybe they consulted. But
I know that Lauren must be a strong swimmer because she's a fisherwoman.
Yeah.
So you know she has to learn how to swim in order to be on the boat. I feel like Joe isn't a strong swimmer, which is why he volunteered so quickly.
Yeah, no, that's true. So we see the Hustlers have a huge lead right away, and then obviously they fall behind later on. But I think that, like, okay, so when the healers, Jessica's on the healers, correct?
Yes.
Jessica's the one with
Cole.
So with the healers, Jessica I just didn't think performed very strong in this challenge at all. Like, I wonder if she would have been on the chopping block had the results been different, because, you know, she dove down in the water multiple times and didn't come up with anything. Cole literally carried that team on his back.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Mike and Desi did, because they were in last place once they got to the puzzle, and Mike and Desi pulled it through for them.
Yeah, no,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, yes, he pulled the physical, like, got them to the physical, but I feel like Mike and Desi definitely, you know, pushed them over the edge.
They definitely did help, but when you have a challenge that's so heavily in swimming, I was kind of just wondering who decided to put who in what positions. Because she just didn't seem like a strong swimmer.
No.
I just don't know if she volunteered or if she was told.
Or it seemed like maybe not so much a strong swimmer, but she like just couldn't hold her breath down there. Like, it was multiple times that she kept going up.
And I always wonder when people have little mess ups like that, I just wonder, did you volunteer for this and know that you were going to have to do this and still did it? Because I'm just like...
Or maybe she was just like, I know that I'm not good at puzzles, so I'm going to do the swimming.
Right. And we saw her
But
swimming.
then Lauren could have swam, and then Jessica could have sat out.
Right.
Yeah.
But we just saw we just saw Jessica catching fish earlier with Cole, so we know she's a good swimmer. Like, if you're out there for hours swimming and trying to catch fish, you can swim. I think it was probably the holding the breath part. Maybe.
And you guys, maybe it's not neither either. Maybe it's just a simple fact that when you get into the game situation, it kind of scrambles your brain and you're moving too fast and it stresses you out.
And maybe she just had a bad day.
No, totally. So Allie and Simone were the ones doing the puzzle for the Hustlers, and we see that kind of backfires, because Simone... Like, people were saying, okay, Simone, just sit back now because you are, like, messing this up. She couldn't, like, figure out where to put it, and she really just, like, couldn't do anything on her own. Like, they were all yelling at her, put that piece there. Like, she wasn't really trying to figure it out herself.
She was, and in all fairness, Patrick at one point yelled at Simone and said, put that there. It was the Philippine sign. I specifically remember it because I was like, they already tried that, and Simone said, we already tried that. It's too big, and then... She did it anyway because they're yelling at her. Okay. And I just feel like that might not have been such a big deal, and they probably still would have lost. But just looking at it like that, I was like, she's just out of her element. She's not strong enough to say her opinion. I just felt bad for her.
Yeah, no, they were just telling her at that point, like, just observe. And it's the Hustlers had such a big lead going up, such a big lead. And we do see that Simone apologizes later, saying, hey, guys, like, I'm sorry, this, you know, we all wanted it really bad, but I totally, like, messed up here.
Well, Allie messed up, too. Allie had more of the ample time. I mean, Allie had just the same amount of time as Simone did to figure out the puzzle, but she didn't either. So it's hard to just say that it was one person.
I don't think it was on one person. I think this came down to social ability as well.
Yeah, because they were all just like, they could tell that
they
like
Allie, they don't like Simone.
Right.
So, like, if there's two on the totem pole, it's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. And the healers win the second time in a row. So we see that the healers are very, very strong at this point. And then the heroes obviously come in second. It was pretty close there at the end. But yeah, when we get back, you know, like we said, Simone apologized, and basically she says that she's going to try to shape the narrative against Patrick because she knows that she's on the bottom. She basically says that I would feel bad if I was Patrick because they were comparing him to a newborn baby.
I know.
To a literal newborn baby.
When he watches this back, he's going to be so
my God,
mad.
he's going to be like, oh, what did I do? So basically, you know, they say they're kind of going back and forth thinking, do we vote Patrick? Do we vote Simone? And Lauren kind of brings up a point. You know, Patrick is annoying, and Simone can't really do anything, but at least Simone listens. At least Simone listens.
This is the part where I started really liking Simone a little bit more.
Bad. No, I felt so bad for both of the individuals. So think about it like this. On one side, Patrick's being told that he needs to be micromanaged. On the other side, Simone's basically being told that she's going to be a patsy. And both descriptions as individuals is really harsh.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I know that it's a strategic and it's a game, but sometimes I kind of just wonder, like, these individuals are going to watch this later.
Yeah.
And they're going to look at how you kind of describe them in this scenario.
Based on what you know in 3 days.
In 3 days, which you don't have a lot to go off in 3 days, but I'm just kind of like, you guys are so mean.
But I think that's why Survivor is such a great game, because it is a social game. You are literally, you know these people for 6 days, and it just shows how humanity interacts with other people.
Can we just pause for a second? And this is like,
and
this is Domonique just being Domonique. So the last live read we had was for The Good Doctor. So I finally watched it the other day, and the young doctor is autistic, and he's very much like a mirror. Like when you do something wrong, he just says it because that's how his brain works. works. And I'm like, this is so like Survivor. Like, these people just say things that I don't think that in normal life we say to people. And it just kind of just makes me think, I'm just like, when you go on that island, does something switch in your brain? Like, I'm just going to be super honest.
You're talking about when the doctors talk to him, like, they just say whatever's on their mind. Like, you don't talk to people like that in real life. Well, it's also like people aren't talking to this person specifically like to them. They're just saying it in the confessional.
And I'm sure the producers are like pushing it out of them. Like, what do you think of Simone? Like, do you think she's annoying? Say it in a complete sentence.
Yes,
like,
yes. And I will also say, I think the editors did a great job this episode, because after this went on, we all were like, Patrick's going home for sure. Like, you know what I mean?
You two did, and I was like, Simone definitely has to go.
I think I have said that because I really felt bad for Simone, and I did want her to stay. Because, like you said, I feel like she could have really gotten out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could tell that in the grand scheme of things, when you really looked at the dynamics, that Patrick was the better option to stay.
I will say this. I think that Simone was smart for trying to turn the narrative. At least she didn't just sit there and go, well, I guess I'm going home.
It showed us that the girl had a little bit in her as far as gameplay, which I didn't think she was going to have it in her, which made me think the interpretation of her being a patsy the entire game was not going to be true.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. Seeing when we go to Tribal, I mean, a little bit before that, we see Allie, Ryan, and Devin are very close, and they're going to be voting together. And then we
think so?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of like discussed that they were that they were like together. And then we see like obviously Simone and Patrick are kind of on the outs. Although, you know, Allie said that she wasn't sure about Simone because, you know, her and Patrick had been together since the beginning. She didn't want to vote for Patrick ever. But, like, Lauren was kind of more adamant about it, and Allie was kind of going along. I
thought it was more so, like, Lauren kind of just, like, throwing something out there, like, hey, I wouldn't mind working with you.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. Did you guys get the feeling that Allie was saying, like, for sure this is going to be a thing moving forward, or I'm just listening to you in this particular
What I thought
instance?
was Allie thought that it was way too early to, like, be doing this whole like strategize. I don't know. She seemed like she said she was like, it's really early for this. So like I don't really know how Allie felt. I feel like she was kind of just entertaining the ideas,
right,
and deciding what was best for her later on. But she made it clear that she wanted Patrick to stay. Also because he is a physical threat, which they mentioned.
Right.
And they said, you know, without him.
A physical threat or a physical attribute at this point?
A physical attribute at this point, correct,
right.
Yes. Basically they said they're going to lose every time without him, but he's unpredictable, which they don't like. So then I guess in Tribal, Ryan compares Tribal to being at the birthday party of that kid you don't like. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like, you're there with your friends, but but then Lauren's like, no, this is a funeral.
I've heard a lot of analogies for Tribal, but a birthday party for the person you don't like has to take, like, was hilarious.
It was definitely the funniest analogy that I've also ever heard. But I think that Lauren coming back with it and being like, no, it's more like a funeral, just put us back in reality. Like, oh, that's funny. Oh wait, Lauren's right.
No, but that's the thing. It's kind of like a funeral, but it's not, because it's like you don't know that you're about to die.
Yeah.
But also people leave these tribals usually with a sense of, you know, hey, at least it wasn't me. So it's like more of like a happy vibe. And you don't really leave funerals like that, I guess.
Which is why we go back to the birthday party of the kid you don't really like. Like, there's going to be cake, there's going to be ice cream,
Your
but
friends
you're going to
are
have
there,
to
but
put
like,
up
yeah,
with this kid, and you're going to have to give him a gift. Like, it's uncomfortable.
So I wanted to just touch base really quick about Patrick in Tribal. He says, I trust most of the people here, or most of the people here trust me. And it kind of got a, like, stunned reaction. Yeah. Basically,
but it's like,
been
what's 3 days?
What's the big deal?
Isn't that illogical?
6 days.
It's been 6 days, you guys. Isn't it illogical to say, like, I trust most of the people here?
But everybody freaked out.
I don't even remember all of your names.
You don't trust all the people here? Like, well,
I mean, clearly he didn't go home, so it didn't affect him that much. But I could understand why people would be like, why didn't you just say all? Like, just lie about it. But then Lauren goes, look, if you mean most, say most. If you mean all, then say all.
Don't go back and forth.
Right.
I don't know. I just didn't think it was as big of a deal. All of a sudden, everybody was like,
oh my gosh.
How dare he? I'm like,
I was like, it makes sense to me.
This is Survivor, you guys. Like, of course there's people you don't trust.
I'm still writing your names down on my hand.
Right. I think what Ryan said summed this entire game up for me the most when he said there's 6 different agendas here and everyone thinks there's one plan.
Yes.
I loved that.
That's good.
I was like, that's
brilliant.
The quote. Right.
That is the quote.
Yeah.
That's good.
I will be quoting that for seasons to come.
Yes. Agreed.
Simone also brings up a good point. She says, you know, before she gets voted out, that she's trying to kind of make her case, and she's like, you know what? If this was old school Survivor, like I would be obviously the easy vote out because, you know, like obviously I messed up at the challenge, and that's what we thought about was, okay, who was the least strong at the challenge? She's like, this isn't old school Survivor anymore. Basically, it's just not about that. I just thought there was a lot of truth to that.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like there was a lot of truth to it to some extent in what we've seen in the last like 2 or 3 seasons. But I would like to get back to old Survivor, at least some type of combination of the two, because I truly do believe that when you come into a challenge and you give it your all, and you are a huge component to your team doing good or not, you know, in a consistent history. We don't have that much history to go on because it's only the 2nd episode. But I feel like that should weigh something.
I don't know. I also feel like America likes to root for the underdog, and Simone would be an underdog. And we've seen it through countless seasons where people, instead of rooting for like the pretty boy with all the musculature body, they go for, you know, more of the, you know, skinny person that has this awkward tendencies, and they're just, you know, in social, you know, settings would be looked at as an underdog. And I like the fact that we root for underdogs instead of the person who we think has it all.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I've been watching Survivor for a really long time, and to me, I feel like there are a lot of people who have had the physical attributes, who have been the underdogs, who have made their way to the final 3 because it has been blood, sweat, and tears, and nothing but hard work that have allowed them to get to that point. So to me, I feel like Survivor is nothing but a group of a bunch of underdogs and a few popular kids in between, and they normally get weeded out in the first few weeks anyways.
Yeah, I mean, this is Survivor. If you can outwit, outlast, and outplay all of your other competitors, then you deserve to be in the final.
Absolutely.
No matter what your physical, no matter if you're underdog,
Thank you. But I feel like sometimes it's not always about the outplay part. And all I'm saying is I want to get back to a place where it's a combination of the 3.
I agree, though. I mean, like, I always say that, we know that I always say that like, I want the physical aspect to be more of it than always just a strategy. I mean, I like it when it's a combination of both. I like to see both.
Yeah. I think we're semi on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In different ways, but we're all
in different ways.
We all have different ways to get to the final.
Also, I mean, you guys, Patrick made a great point that, like, they can't vote out the only redhead in the game. You know? Like,
you know, redheads make me really uncomfortable. So when he said that, I was just like...
You're like, all right.
Dom wanted to switch her vote from Simone to Patrick real quick.
Right. So anyways, we obviously see that Simone is voted out. She's the only one that was on the wrong side of the vote.
Bye.
And bye. That's her exact words. Bye.
Which I hate that. I hate the long bye.
I like it.
Also, like, the way that Jeff was saying, he's like, bad news is you lost a tribe member. The good news is, I was like, he's just about to say, the good news is it was Simone. Like, let's move it on, guys. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then he should have said, bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, that was our episode of Survivor. Before we get into our predictions for the night, I just wanted to let you guys know about a really cool show that's coming out. Monday, the Charlie Whiskey Television Network. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, it's like
the CW.
The CW. They're using whatever.
I actually didn't know that the CW.
They do in the Army.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's what it was. So, the CW brings you to the front line of drama with the new military series Valor.
The CW is still a network?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. 2 special ops Army helicopter pilots breaking boundaries and defying all expectations. So their bravery in the face of impossible odds earned them the distinguished Flying Cross for Valor. Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But together they are finding that truth is the first casualty of war. Very dramatic.
Sounds like Survivor.
I was about to say.
Yeah. During their last mission, something went wrong, something that nobody is talking about. And when they went into combat zone, not everybody came home.
Sounds like
Survivor.
Sounds like Survivor. So now they have secrets, but they're also patriots and refuse to leave any man behind. So what would you guys do if you had to break the rules and do what's right? Would you stay grounded and step in line, or would you go to any lengths to learn the truth? I mean, I think that's a question that we don't really know. You never know what's going to happen until you're in the situation. So these people, they share secrets. They go on clandestine missions, risk life and limb with only each other to depend on. So it could get pretty risky. So basically, how would you guys, how would you get to the only person who really knows you? It's the explosive new drama that pushes the boundaries between military discipline and human nature. The new series that is right on target. So it's called Valor. So make sure to watch it. The world premiere after the season premiere of Supergirl on Monday. Only on the Charlie Whiskey, the CW.
Nice.
So
okay, CW. I am gonna check it out. That sounded really cool.
I'm surprised you didn't know that CW was still a network when it has all those superhero shows on it.
do you like superhero shows?
I like Survivor.
Dead silence.
So I'm super excited about next episode because I just feel like you guys know how I feel about the beginning of a new season.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's so much that I just don't know. There's so much questions that I have about the different characters. I still feel like we're still developing. I don't like what they're doing right now that I've noticed the last 2 seasons where whoever's getting ready to be voted off, they seem to be like very, very prominent in the episode.
They've always done that. Like I said in the beginning,
but
they
it's
foreshadow
just like,
it.
can we get a little bit like...
Well, we saw that.
I agree with you.
For the next episode, the promo was completely centered around Jessica and Cole, so maybe one of them will get voted off if they ever go to Tribal because, you know, they have the showman. So you think that they're... Obviously, we haven't seen much of them yet because the healers keep winning.
Yeah.
But maybe when they go to Tribal, we're going to see that their teammates are not really having the showman.
It was also centered around Patrick versus Lauren. Apparently, they're going to have a blowout. And like you said on The Good Doctor, sometimes you just wish that people would say what's on their minds. And I feel like Lauren does need to say what is on her mind when it comes to the Patrick situation.
Is that your prediction that she's going to just go for it?
I think so. I feel like she's a fisherwoman. She seems to be a very strong woman. I feel like she's not afraid to show her opinion no matter who it pisses off.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. I definitely think that the Cole and Jessica thing is kind of... I mean, it's either going to blow up in their face or they're really going to have a real showman.
Wait on this. My Kisses Are Private is the episode title?
Yeah, because they like
that
kiss.
sounds disgusting.
Well, also on the promo for next week, she says... I don't put my lips towards people very often, so this is big.
Yes.
And she gives him a kiss, and he says that he's her dream girl.
Oh.
That she's his dream girl. So, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. Do you guys have any other thoughts on this episode or any other predictions?
I think I got them all out. I have to save my predictions until I know a little bit more.
Definitely.
Yeah, like Dom says, I feel like once they start weeding down to, as soon as they merge, I feel like all of us are going to be like, okay, now we could really hone in. And that's when I really want to know the backstories of people, because once they merge, once you get to the merge, that's when we figure out who might actually get to the final 3, and those backstories, in my opinion, do sway my vote.
Yes, once we get to the merge, we'll really understand who will outplay and outlast.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So that was Survivor Season 35, Episode 2. We better see you guys here next week because I'm sure a lot's going to go on. And definitely make sure to reach out to us if you don't know where to find this after show channel, and we will get that information for you. And we're also doing our fantasy football draft next week because we'll have 16.
We do a week after next?
Well, we have to next week because then we have 16. Or we can, because we have 16 people next week. So we're going to probably do it then.
4 per person.
4 per person. So let us know what people you guys would pick in our DM so we know what the best people to pick are. Where can they find you guys?
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike.
And I am Paige Bonanno. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And you guys can find me on all social media at Paige Bonanno. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Bye.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.